the Dawn Patrol. I am Cliff Krieger, the host. Eileen Del Rossi, my co-host, is missing somewhere out there. Mike Smith down in Florida. Mike, how are you?
Good morning. Yep, good. Still warm down here.
We're hoping Fru's going to be zooming in from Japan, provide a more international flavor. Fru, I heard there was a big 4th of July celebration in Tokyo, which would have taken place probably on the 3rd of July here in the United States. I heard it was quite good. Did you observe it?
Yeah, I was up north, Cliff, up north in the village, in a place called Hirazumi.
Did you talk to any Japanese people? They say anything about the 4th of July to you?
But the few that I talked to, most of the young guys, when I say Boston, they say, oh, Boston. They were very happy.
Are you over there on business or pleasure?
Pleasure. I just decided to see the world.
How was the bullet train?
Well, that thing is super fast. It's very, very stable. In there, you put a glass on the table with water. Very, very fast. North where I was, Hirazumi, down to Tokyo, it would have taken about 7-8 hours under a normal train, but that one takes about 2.5 hours.
We could use some high-speed rail in the United States. I read Mayor Zoran Madami's speech, and it seemed okay to me, except when he talked about oligarchs running elections. My Democratic Party brother assured me that all the elections are fair and square, so I don't know. Maybe the mayor was talking about George Soros. Do you think that could be?
I hope not. Well, I don't think so.
George Soros seems to buy a lot of elections.
You know, it was interesting. You're talking about both sides of the coin. I was watching a number of different things over the weekend, because of 4th of July. And it came out with these polls about how people aren't happy to be proud to be Americans and all that. And it came out that, and I've talked with Kathy and I have talked about this a lot. It just seems to me like these people are just unhappy in their lives. So they've got to blame somebody for their life not being what they think it should be. And so they're using that energy to do the different things that they've been doing. It just seems like, they don't, I don't know if they don't have a purpose or they're just not happy. I mean, for people who've traveled, like Fru's traveled, John's traveled, I've traveled, people here in the United States who just never travel outside even their own area where they live, they don't realize how lucky they are to be in this country. And with the World Cup coming here and people coming from other countries, they're like, oh my gosh, look at the United States, all this stuff you can do and what we have compared to them. We take for granted, and I don't know why we don't teach this in school. We take for granted all the things that we have all here. We assume that everybody else has that. And that is the exception more than the rule in the world. It's very unfortunate that people don't understand how lucky we are to be here.
Going back to what Mike said, there's a mindset. When I was stationed in Germany, first time in the 1960s, we were on 3-year tours. Be there 3 years. And there were those people who lived in base housing, which was built for us by the French, thank you. There were those of us that lived on the economy. People that lived in base housing, given a chance, applied to curtail their tour and return to the United States early. And people who lived on the economy out in Bitburg, Germany, and the surrounding little villages, we tended to be extending our tours so that we could be there long and enjoy our time in Germany. So I think what you're saying may be right, Mike.
When I went to school, when I was younger, you learned about American history, and it was encouraged to be proud of being an American. It was that's what happened in schools. You were happy, to be in the United States. You were taught that this is a good country. And I just don't think that is happening in school. Some people I've talked to, teachers I know, it's happening in school. I mean, it's especially in the colleges. It's like, we're a bad country. We do things so bad, and when people tell me that, my only question is, I said, then why does everybody want to come here if we're so terrible? And they stop then. They don't have an answer. I mean, everybody wants to come here. And if we're so bad, why does everybody? Are we perfect? Absolutely not. Do we have a lot to improve on? Yes, we do. But we are a lot better than a lot of other places.
Mike, much of the weekend, I'm sitting there with my phone, I'm on Facebook watching videos of soccer people from all over the planet emphasizing that one guy says, I can't believe it, that there's an air conditioner in everybody's hotel room. Air conditioning's everywhere in this country. And he lives in England. They don't have air conditioning in England. So
same thing in New Zealand where my son lives. They don't have air conditioning there.
Portions. They go in. I go into a gas station. I can have whatever I want. The gigantic portions that you Americans put on the plate. No wonder you're all fat. And he was just fascinated by the portions, how cheap it is. He's at a gas pump and he's paying like $4.89 a gallon. He goes, and gas is a bargain. So we don't realize how good we have it. Listening to some of the characters from around the globe bragging about how good America has it.
Well, John, I look at it differently. We are looking at it in terms of material things. Cliff, you mentioned it in the 60s, America was the moral beacon around the world. And also you see people like, of blessed memory, President Jimmy Carter. They went around the world spreading the compassionate spirit of America. And that is what people really admired. Even I remember George Bush II talking about compassionate republicanism. So that compassionate, that thing, that beacon that America sent all over the world, most Americans, some of them that have equally met, when they travel now, they don't want to say that they are Americans. Why? It's good that sometimes Mike just say something. Does it mean that if someone sees something that is not fair about his country, that person should not talk about? And most people capitalize on that. When you ask question, does it mean that you are not supposed to belong here? It should mean that you love the country very much. You see something that's not going, or you travel around the world, you see something, and you really see that things are changing in the way that it's making us somehow not really that beacon of morality that the whole world looked upon. And sometimes we really sit here and trivialize things as if we don't equally see it. That is not fair.
Fruit. How are the food portions over there in Japan?
John, food here is easy. It's not a question of portion. It's not a question of portion. It's a question. Is it accessible? Is it available? Are you starving? Wherever you go here even at the train station, everywhere, you see how these people are organized, mean, and
so food is readily available everywhere.
Yes, it's not a question of how much. It's a question of.
Yes, it is a question of how much. Plate, is it an American portion or is it a European portion? I think they're giving you a European portion. And you're going like, I'm starving to death, man. I can hardly wait till I get home.
John, you see how skinny and healthy these people are? If you give them our portion, do you think that they will be able to finish it?
Now the truth is coming out. They're skipping you on the portions. I got you. It's getting like, you know how we get a whole hot dog? They have pigs wrapped in blanket, and they call that their hot dog.
No, their hot dog is about one fifth of our hot dog in terms of.
Yeah.
I do got to jump in a little bit. Is that people in Europe? They have a different eating schedule than we do. They tend to eat their bigger meal in the middle of the day and then a smaller meal in the evening. And a lot of people there, they do more walking, you know.
Yes.
So, if we did more of that, I think that might be different. They have a much longer lunchtime than we do. You know, they might have a 2-hour lunchtime. So that gives them time to eat a bigger meal and relax and then go back to work. It's not necessarily apples to apples for the eating schedule.
Okay,
and all
well,
that.
let's back the bus up a little bit, Mike. Now, for right now, it's what, 7:30 p.m. there?
Yes.
So when you have lunch tomorrow, which Mike says that's the big meal of the day, do you leave lunch hungry?
No, John. Well, I don't eat that much, but for someone who's used to eating more than working more, they will think that food is important. For me, food is to keep me going. Not I can really go with the little portion as long as I'm able to function.
Okay.
And I was referring, John, to Europe more than Asia. You know, I'm not familiar enough with the eating schedule in Asia.
No,
but I
Mike,
know in
wherever
Europe,
wherever I've gone, I have never seen American portions in any country. I haven't been to Japan yet.
The truth of it is the little portion that you eat here is more nutritious than the big portion that you eat there, which probably is full of is processed and full of fatty stuff.
Yummy, fatty stuff.
I think what the people are here for the World Cup, what they're impressed is with the variety and choices and access to different things compared to possibly in where they're coming from. You know, I know you're talking about the size of the portions, which is fine, but I think it's the access to be able to get to stuff and do things. And of course, we run more on a 24/7 schedule than other countries do. So I mean, we can go to an all-night diner and get food if we wanted to. I think that the hours are a little more restricted in some other countries.
The truth of it, Mike, as you said, the thing is, anything around the world, you go to America in terms of food, even African food, Asian food, Latino food, you see it in America because every good thing follows where there is money. If you come here in Japan, most of the good stuff that you see here, you go to where even they produce it, you will not see it. But you come to America, you come to Japan, you will see it because all these things follow the market where there is money.
Yeah, and when we're talking about Japan, where you are, that is more of a homogeneous society. So you don't have the variety that you would have in the U.S. because we have. I think that's more so. A lot of countries tend to be more towards the homogeneous side than we are. And so when people come here, they're like, "Oh my gosh, look at all these different choices I get." And we're not just talking about food either. You know, all the other things you can do when they come here. In a lot of countries, the bars are not open to 2 and they're only open to 10 or 11 at night. And the only reason you can stay out later drinking someplace is because you belong to a private club that maybe they have later hours. So that's another thing, you know, that people come here and they're like, they have more access around the clock.
That country, they are a homogeneous society. But in America, there's a lot of diversity, and in terms of food, in terms of even everything, you see a little bit of every part of the world here.
The survey found half Americans didn't know what we were celebrating on the 4th of July, but 2/3 of Gen Z doesn't know. Now, Gen Z are people born between 1997 and 2010, and young and clueless that have been turning out to vote, though they at least know to vote. Unfortunately, Eileen is not here to defend the schools, but
I'm here and listening to these shenanigans.
we had a Massachusetts principal apologize to Arab students after a lesson on the Holocaust. This is at Lexington Middle School. Well, he's under fire for apologizing after they felt unseen during a lesson on the Holocaust. Some of you felt like your own history, your identity, or your community was left out or erased. You were going to say something, Eileen?
No, I mean, the impact of teaching that is for them to think, wow, how lucky are we now to live in a free country that our states, our countries fought for, not to get an apology from a principal. And our history is intense and not pleasant at points, but I mean, the lesson is to take away that because we have a strong army and affiliations, is that we were able to, from all of that, essentially, and end it, but not apologize for it, because you can't do better if you don't know better, right? And that's what you have to fight for. And I think that, again, it talks to resilience and it talks to grit, and those are things that our kids don't really have today, is that grit and that getting through it, even if they feel uncomfortable.
If you don't know where you came from, how do you know where you're going? And parents today, I don't know where this came from. They don't want their kids to ever fail at it. But
or feel uncomfortable.
Yes, and so that's part of your getting your character and growing up, and that's what made our country great, is even though you have to face adversity, that you learn how to get through things. Things aren't always going to be fair in life. Things aren't always going to be the way you want it to go. So how you react to that and how you get through that is what makes the difference in how you go through life.
Well said, Mike.
What was the issue, Cliff? I did not follow what you said.
They were teaching about the Holocaust, the 6 million Jews killed in concentration camps, and the Arab students in Lexington complained, and their parents complained, they felt unseen during the discussion, like they had been erased.
Well, the thing, if I can just ask, is that we have selective education. We don't teach our true history in that sense, and if they only selectively do that without also teaching the whole history so that we really know who we are, as Mike said, that you have to know where you are coming, know where you are going. Not selectively let us know where we are coming from. That is not the whole and the total history. And that because we turn off the light in part of our own history and let people ignorant of our history. And when you are ignorant on part of yourself, you cannot really be fully an intellectual until you bring those parts of the history that are even not comfortable to talk. That is part of the whole story, and that is what makes people really understand themselves and be really proud to move along.
Are you in a Hilton?
It's not a Hilton, and I don't want to be to advertise for them.
It looks beautiful there.
I am at the port. Behind me is the seaport. You can see ships that are anchored.
So, Fru, got a question for the audience. Is that Nelson Mandela on your shirt?
Your audience is very observant. Yes.
Thank you.
So following up on what Fru said, been doing a broader teaching of history, they would have brought up how the Arab groups were playing patty cake with Adolf Hitler in the run-up to and part of World War II. That wasn't very good.
Well, I was just going to say, I think religion is being taken much more seriously by students, especially today, and Arabic students, especially. They take their religion very, very seriously. And as much as we had diversity when I was growing up, religion wasn't really brought into it. And so now you get the kids don't eat for Ramadan. And, these kids that are hardcore at studying their religion and believing in it, and it's a lot for kids today who are just learning about it and trying to put religion together in their head. I speak of this because of experience, because my son has an Arabic friend. He's a great kid, but they argue all the time because Anthony tends to take what he's repeated. So what you said there, my son said to his friend that his grandfather was best friends with Hitler, and that caused a big uproar because maybe a part of it's true, but it's a part that we don't want to talk about because it's a huge genocide. And so it's introducing learning, but my son didn't say it in like a mean way. He said it in a way like he was putting it together, but in very harsh. And I don't think my son fully recognizes the effect of the Holocaust.
Well, I'm equally saying that, the thing is, like I talked about selective education, we once what I've realized, I've served on the boards of schools there too. Once I realized if there is anything that comes about black history in the school, it's very controversial, as if black history is not part of American history. Why do so many people resent talking about that or even teaching about slavery, which is one of the evils of men?
Because it's history. We don't have.
And the other issues are not history.
We don't have white history, so we have black history, we have Hispanic history, we have Asian history. We don't have white history. Why is that? Why don't we have white history?
I am talking about slavery, which is one of the root, the historical powers in America, in the continent. Why should people not know about it? If you talk about that history and know about it, you will be able to know the history of the country, and you will be able to respect everyone that paid a price to make the country what it is. If you try not to, the younger generation, which unfortunately AI will be controlling everything, will not know that part of the history. And that is the main reason why when mostly black people talk, people don't want to listen, because they have totally not want to know about their own history, as if it is insignificant.
It's unfortunate, Fru, that, when I was growing up, we knew about slavery, we knew about the Civil War, we knew about all that. And again, I talk about knowing history so you can move forward. If we look at even in the last 10 to 20, things have changed. The problem I see, or the challenge I see, is the people who are still trying to make things look terrible in our country. That's the thing that bothers me the most, whether it's from the liberal, the conservative, whatever side you want to pick. That's the thing that scares me the most, because we have moved forward. We have moved a lot farther forward. Do we still need to move more forward? Yes, I believe we do. But, if you look at now, because we have a diverse society, our younger people, I do have to say, they look at things a lot differently than my parents or even my generation. And I think that's a good thing, because I think that the younger people tend to look less at, are you black, are you Asian, are you Hispanic? I think that they tend to look at things, they look at you as a human more. So I think that that's a good thing, a very good thing. And but we have the news people that want to stir things up so that they can drive their business. And that's the thing that bothers me.
Why do we study history?
To learn about our past.
To avoid repeating it.
That is it, Cliff. We study history because those who ignore history are doomed to the very mistakes to do what happened in history. If we avoid certain history, we open ourselves and say that we are continuing to do whatever happened.
I agree totally. But again, we need to know history, the good parts, the bad parts, because if we don't know that, how do we know what's good or bad? And
I tend to think when I hear you guys talk, I agree totally too. When I grew up, when you guys grew up, it was common sense. But kids are those skills to filter out what's important, what's not important so much. I agree with you, Mike. Our kids hear more and see more and don't see color. I don't think that they do. But I also think they don't know how to filter out information, or it's too much information for them because they can't even comprehend it. Because we now look at even saying no to a child as like a form of child abuse. You know what I mean? And so to expose them to that and expect them to know not to repeat it, it's going to cause them some type of trauma in some way, even though they didn't experience it.
Social media is just overwhelming.
I think the more important thing that I heard from Eileen is that we have taken the power of parents to discipline kids. Yeah. And so you give more power to the kids. Sometimes now, parents are even afraid because of the restriction that educators that have been put in place under them. And some people, do you really feel that as a parent, that someone you can pick up the phone and report them. And when they come, they will not listen to your parents. The adults who are better placed and whose parents also discipline and train them to be productive and well and who they are today are actually selling that authority, that parental authority. And we are the ones who are making the future of tomorrow bad. And then we are blaming the kids. No.
I just want to point, I agree with you, Fru, about that. And I just want to point out, see, when people hear the word discipline, they think of somebody getting spanked or physical abuse. But the thing now is, even if you yell at your kid or you tell them, go to your friend's house tonight, they're using that as abuse now. And parents are like, well, even the teachers in classrooms, I mean, Eileen, you're a teacher, compared to when you were growing up or I was growing up, you know, the disrespect. Because kids look at it, they're like, what are you going to do to me? There's nothing you can do to me. Oh, you're going to suspend. Oh, good. I can stay home and play video games all day. You know, so.
And they use it as leverage, you know, and it's pretty sad that we as a society have even allowed that to go so far. But yeah, it's really sad. Like, the wheels of justice have turned, and not for the better. I was watching the Law and Crime channel over the weekend, and I was watching a young boy being sentenced because he killed somebody on a playground. And it's like happening when you take all the rights of a parent away and you want to let the kids run the roost. And it's just sad, and it's rampant. And it's just like, we don't know our roles as teachers. We don't know our roles as parents anymore. And we're trying to navigate a world that we're not even used to, with technology being what it is, and kids knowing more about technology than we do, and yet, you know, trying to catch up with where they're at and trying to pull their higher intelligence for technology into education. But it's an unknown world, and I think a lot of leaders are just scared to begin to navigate this world. It's easier to stay what they know instead of going into what they don't know, but don't know what to do, and it's not helping. And we need to put money and research into knowing what to do with this generation of kids. Help parents, help teachers, help students know their roles and what's what, because we're not doing well.
My observation here, which was strange, was that I see young kids walking and going to school alone. And that happened in America.
You walk through a restaurant and you see the kids not talking to their parents. They're on their phone. Their phone is more important to them than anything.
I'm saying that the safety, the kids are walking to school. You see them coming back and walking by themselves. That shows the level of, we have really, I don't know.
Welcome to Citylife Show. I'm Cliff, your host. I co-host Eileen Del Rossi. Zooming in, we have Fruin Kembang, who is fruing in from Osaka, Japan. We have Mike Smith, who's from the Tampa Bay area of Florida. And we have our producer, John McDonough. Fru, I wanted to talk about slavery, which is a real lot on our history.
Maybe you're asking me that slavery is a global issue, but it doesn't stop you from teaching your own people about your own involvement in slavery. Because the more we are educated, the more we are informed. It's more or less like if you are sitting in a house and there is no light and there is a switch and people are sitting there in the darkness. Once you start teaching, it's like you turn on the switch. When you turn on the switch,
Yeah, I agree with you, Fru, on that. And I think it's even more important now than even in the past to teach history about our country and where we were and how we've changed. Because with AI and all the stuff that goes on in the internet, these kids are seeing all kinds of stuff. And how do you filter out what's true and not true? You teach the proper history in school so kids know, hey, this is what's really going on. This is what's happened. I mean, there's still people denying that the Holocaust even happened, and they believe it. And we know that's absolutely not true.
Well, the lopsided history of the Holocaust is not only Jews got extinguished.
Correct.
And
Correct.
everybody else is excluded. You know, I get a kick out of watching television, help the starving Jews. Well, wait a second. In my world, we help anybody who's starving. We don't say, hey, can you show us your rosary beads and we'll help you out?
One thing about the Holocaust that you are saying, Mike, is the survivors are still alive to tell the stories. You have people who went through that. They are alive to tell the stories. And then in slavery, we also have the black people who went through that. Isn't it that truth for the survivors to come out and share their story? If you really want to know the history, know it from people who lived it, who suffered it, and who were persecuted.
I agree. I mean, it's just like all the the World War II or whatever veterans that are still alive that they were interviewing. I saw over the weekend for 4th of July. Amazing. I was impressed. There was this one veteran, 104 years old. They were showing a clip with these ladies singing a song from World War II in front of them. The guy looked like he was like my age almost. I mean, he was standing up, alert. I mean, if we don't have the people to share that story. I mean, look at all the civilizations they passed down their history from generation to generation.
And Cliff, if you permit me, may I also throw it in that when you start seeing that communities and a race of people are saying Black Lives Matter, Asian Lives Matter, what does that mean? Mean they have been ignored mainstream. Means their own part of the story is not being shared to all Americans. Because if we learn about everybody, will be able to know where everyone is coming from and know that how we all can move forward. But there are some people who will resist to death because you don't want your own children to be educated about that part of the history. Is it a disservice to that generation, or you are continuing to perpetuate what existed to divide the groups? And that is why there is more racial division in this country, because in our country, I can be proud enough to talk about the history of a Caucasian, and I can be proud enough to talk about the history of someone from Asia, and be proud enough to talk about the history of someone from African descent who is part of this melting pot that is called America.
So, Fru, who went to Japan with you?
My very self, John. You know, my pockets are not very full. If I were, I would bring the entire family with me.
I'm glad you're... Now, what's the weather like over there?
I went to the temple. It was raining. And, John, a lot of experience. I will share a lot of pictures.
Ay,